but I just want to bring you to your attention something that's, I think, pretty crucial around an election campaign, and that is, what is the specific issue that you are voting on? What is the specific issue you are voting? What do you really want from a Prime Minister? I mean, Rishi has said a lot of things. He's talked about a vote for reform is a vote for Labour, he says. He's talked about, as I mentioned there in the beginning, that voting for Labour is like giving them a blank cheque because of all their penned-in tax rises, etc. But do you know what? I'm not absolutely sure. And I feel for him. He's doing, you've got to feel sorry for Rishi Sunak. This is a guy that couldn't afford Sky TV when he was a kid. The family had to struggle really, really hard. I'll play you the little clip of that in just a little bit. So I sympathise that he's scratching around here. He's unveiled his own manifesto, of course, as we discussed yesterday on the programme, with £17 billion of tax cuts on Tuesday, including the abolition of national insurance for almost every self-employed worker. I don't know how that's going to even work, the abolition of that. And how? What happens? Me and most of my colleagues are in that category. Who pays for your pension if you're not paying national? I guess it comes out somewhere else in the mix. It's said widely by many objective onlookers that any party that is promising a tax cut overall is not being straight with you, because it is simply not possible to have tax cuts. Overall, we will have to increase taxes to pay for stuff, whether we are paying for the NHS, whether we are paying for green initiatives, or whether we are simply paying just to simply exist. It doesn't matter. There's going to be rises. So we won't touch the top rate of income tax. We won't touch income tax altogether. We won't touch in fact, we'll drop national insurance. We won't raise VAT, or we'll only put it on school. They're all coming up with their own ideas about what it is. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't really believe overall any of this, because my sense is the tax burden will rise. Whether it is the Conservative Party doing nothing about the incrementals of taxation, so more people are, the fiscal drag as they call it, more people are taken into the next category of taxation. Wages are going up, so every time that happens, another group of people enter the top rate. What's not to like if you're the Chancellor? Or whether it is capital gains tax over there at Labour HQ, wherever it is, and the Green Party are promising a 1% increase on those with over 10 billion quid's worth of assets. Assets, by the way. Assets, not money in the bank. That's a whole different ballgame. So Rishi unveiled the manifesto with these big tax cuts. This was at Silverstone yesterday. Not quite sure what the symbolism was of that. He said the document proved the Tories still had bold ideas for change after 14 years in government. The manifesto proposal to scrap that main rate of national insurance would benefit around 4 million people for self-employed. Also promises to reduce the main rate of national insurance by 2p, abolish stamp duty first time buy. Can I just say, I'm not absolutely sure that taxation in itself is the thing that gets you into number 10. I'm not convinced that it's just a simple case of saying we're going to cut taxes, we're the party of low taxes. I think we want from our government something more than that. Don't we want an environment. That's what I want. I want them to set the atmos. As well, I mean, the specifics. I want them to get tough on crime. I want them to get tough on the channel. I want them, all of that stuff. That's a given. That shouldn't be something remarkable that we all hope they do. Oh, look, they're going to be tough on crime. You're meant to be tough on crime. You're the flipping government. We're going to stop boats illegally coming into our... You're meant to stop boats coming... That's not an optional extra, mate. That's not something you can add in as if it's part of your political ideology. That is literally your duty as the government. Whether you're Keir, whether you're Rishi, whether you're Ed, or whether you're someone else. That is your job to do that. All the other stuff, I want mood music. I want a sense of direction. Do you know what? That's probably why Keir Starmer is ahead in the polls. Because although Keir's mood music is still a fairly sombre affair, it's just a little less sombre than Rishi Sunak's. And I think that's arguably what is happening. What is the number one election issue? What issue will decide your vote? What single issue will decide your vote?